New Tool Day Tuesday, where I share with you guys unique or useful tools that I myself use that I think you might be interested in. I'm very excited to share with you today an amazing borescope. Now, this particular borescope is made by Ralcam, and Ralcam is known for their industrial borescopes. This has a nifty little feature that I have never seen before. In fact, I was so impressed, I asked them if they would send me this camera so that we could take a look at it on our channel, and they did. So thank you, Ralcam. So what was so exciting that I thought we really needed to take a look at this camera? Well, check this out. See where my thumb is? It's on a dial. And as you push and pull on that dial, you can articulate the tip of the camera. You can actually turn it almost back on yourself. So if you want to look up, you can. So if you want to take a look behind you, or you want to take a look at the ceiling of something that you just stuck this camera into, it'll let you do that. It'll articulate two different directions. And it is extremely cool. I've been using this for about a week now on various projects, and it is one of the best borescopes I've ever used. Now, I'm not new to borescopes by any means. I've used them over the years, and I've used some really good ones and some really bad ones, but this one is really amazing. Ralcam sells all kinds of different borescopes, and the particular model that I have happens to have a 4.5-inch screen built onto it. They do sell a version that you can use your cell phone, and it just kind of mounts into the same type of cradle, and then you can use it that way too. The cost is a little more expensive to have the built-in monitor. I will put a link down below to different models in case you're interested in them. This particular one has a built-in battery, and it has a 5.5 millimeter camera. Now, 5.5 millimeter camera is very small. Most of your lower end borescopes are going to have a 9 millimeter, maybe an 8.5 millimeter. This is a 5.5. Again, you pay more for the smaller camera. Built into the camera is 6 LEDs, and they're very bright with different settings. You can make this a really bright light if you need to, or you can dial that light down, and that comes in handy when you're inside a cylinder and too much light just causes it to bounce around and wash it out. You can dim them down a little bit, and that'll help you see things a little bit better. It is also wireless, and it can broadcast to a smartphone, so you can control everything from the smartphone, or you can control it from the display itself. It'll do still pictures, and it'll do video at 1080. It stores its memory on an SD card, and they give you an 8 gig card when you purchase it. It charges by USB, and they also give you a charging cable. Another feature that this particular borescope has that I've never seen before is it has a temperature sensor built into the camera head. You can retrieve and view all of the pictures and all of the videos from the device itself. That is pretty handy if you wanted to show a customer, but you could also pull out the SD card, plug it into your computer, and copy that video to a thumb drive, or print out a still picture and show your customer what you've seen that way too. That is an extremely handy tool that will help you and your customers out. It is feature packed, but the menus are not cluttered. It's very easy to navigate, and quite frankly, there's not a whole lot of settings. All the settings are very straightforward and easy to get to and easy to change. But the question is, how well does it work? Well, I have an older engine. I have a Ford 302, and we're going to take a look inside a few places and see how well this camera does. I already have spark plug number 1 removed on this engine, and we're going to take this camera and shove it right down a spark plug hole. And as you can see, we have a good view of the top of the piston. You can see some cross hashing on the side of the cylinder walls. There's a little bit of crud on the top of that piston, some carbon buildup. And now we've articulated that camera, and we're taking a look behind us. We're looking at the valves. Pretty cool, huh? And you can see they're a little gunky, but not too bad. The engine runs, it's a decent engine. A little bit of rust up there on the top. And we're going to pull the camera back out. Now we're going to take a look through the oil fill port and take a look inside the valve cover. Now, because that camera head articulates, we're going to be able to just kind of take a side shot here and get right down where we need to get and take a look right here. You can see everything's nice and oily and doesn't look terrible other than it's a little gunky. But that articulating camera head, as you can see, makes it really easy to get a really good glimpse inside and see what's going on. Now, for kicks and giggles, let's go down through the carburetor and see what we can find. Now, because that camera is 5.5 millimeters, I had no problem sneaking it down through the carburetor. And we're going to take advantage of that articulating head and take a look left and right here. How cool is that? That articulating head makes this camera awesome. Looks like there's a moth down in there too. This borescope is really easy to use, and I can't stress that articulating head enough. There's been many times where I've snaked in a camera and I just couldn't get the head of the camera to do what I needed. Being able to pitch that camera left and right is an amazing feature. I will also say I've been using this camera on and off for a while, and the battery meter has hardly moved. Ralcam makes a handful of flavors of the articulating borescope. I'll put a list of them down below in case you're interested. They start right around $190, and on their higher end of the scale, if you load them up with all the bells and whistles, they can be somewhere around 580 bucks. For being an industrial borescope and all the features that this has, it's actually priced really well. If you buy a similar snap-on version of this, you're going to pay over $1,000, and it's not going to have an articulating camera. I am really impressed with this particular borescope. I can see using this in so many different ways. The ability to be able to articulate that camera head is amazing. So there you have my quick and dirty review of this Ralcam borescope. If you like these types of videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take a look at some of my other videos, and at the very least, you might be entertained.